There's a formula for ruining a city. You probably think it involves corruption, or poverty, or decades of neglect. Wrong! The fastest way to ruin a city is to build it perfectly and skip everything that actually makes a city work. Dubai didn't stumble into this. They engineered it, step by step. This is how you ruin a city. When the Burj Khalifa opened in 2010, Dubai had a problem. The city had been growing so fast, so recklessly, that its municipal sewage system couldn't keep up. So while the world was staring at the tallest building ever constructed, a citywide convoy of tanker trucks was doing what the infrastructure couldn't, hauling raw sewage across the desert to treatment plants miles away, all over Dubai, including, yes, around the base of the world's most famous skyscraper. Let that sink in. They built the sky and forgot the ground. Billions on glass and steel, and the sewage system ran on diesel and prayer. You can't put a sewer line on an investor deck. You can't Instagram a municipal drain. So they skipped it, not just for one building, but for an entire city. That's not a construction oversight. That's a philosophy. Build what shines, skip what works. And if you think the sewage trucks are embarrassing, wait until you see what they left in the parking lot. Hundreds of luxury cars, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Porsches, Rolls-Royces, have been found abandoned at Dubai International Airport. Keys still in the ignition, some with notes on the windshield. Not stolen, not crashed, just left. Because in Dubai, debt is a criminal offense. Miss enough payments, and you don't get a collections call. You get arrested. Yeah, you read that right. Not a civil matter, not a bad credit score, actual handcuffs. So when the money ran out, and for a lot of expats chasing the Dubai dream, it did, the calculation became brutally simple. The car or your freedom, the apartment or the next flight out. And they chose the flight. Left everything. A $300,000 car becomes worthless the second it stands between you and a prison cell. The cars are still there. Some have been sitting for years, slowly swallowed by desert dust. That's what the Dubai dream looks like when the credits roll. But the expats who fled in a hurry? They were the lucky ones. The people who actually built this city never had a ticket to buy. Palm Jumeirah, the artificial island visible from space and marketed as the eighth wonder of the world, is sinking. Satellite data shows it has been slowly subsiding back into the Persian Gulf since construction ended. The reclaimed sand compresses under the weight of thousands of villas and hotels. And because the island acts as a giant barrier across the coastline, the natural tidal currents that once kept the water clean are gone, leaving the water between the palm fronds stagnant, murky, and thick with algae. The ocean doesn't care about your marketing budget. You can name it the eighth wonder, put a Nobu on it, sell the villas for $20 million apiece. The Persian Gulf is still going to take it back, 1 millimeter at a time. They dredged 94 million cubic meters of sand from the seabed, dumped it into the ocean in the shape of a palm tree, and genuinely seemed surprised when nature pushed back. Dubai didn't build an island. They built a very expensive argument with physics. Picture a couple who bought a waterfront villa on Palm Jumeirah in 2008. Dream home, private beach, views across the Gulf. What the brochure didn't mention, the water in front of their terrace smells like a neglected aquarium. The beach they paid a premium for is eroding faster than the developer's promises, and somewhere beneath the foundation, the sand is still settling. The view is still there. Everything else is negotiable. An island that sinks is a problem you can maybe fix. An island that was never supposed to exist in the first place is a different conversation entirely. But at least the people on Palm Jumeirah have a view. The people who built it had a ceiling, and it was about 6 feet above a bunk bed. An estimated 88% of Dubai's population are foreign nationals. The ones at the bottom, construction workers, cleaners, domestic staff, earn between $200 and $400 a month. They live in labor camps on the industrial outskirts of the city, places like Sonapur, where up to 12 men share a single room. Many had their passports confiscated upon arrival. Under the kafala system, their legal right to stay in the country is tied entirely to their employer. Unions are illegal. Strikes are illegal. Complaining publicly is illegal. These are the men who poured the concrete for the Burj Khalifa, who laid the marble in the lobbies where influencers take their sunrise photos, who built the villas on the sinking island. They came because someone in their village said Dubai was a dream, and their family sold land to pay a broker $3,000 for the privilege of that dream. Then they landed, handed over their passport at the gate, and signed a new contract in a language they couldn't read for half the salary they were promised. And if they tried to leave, that's called absconding. That's a crime. It's 2 a.m. in Sonapur, 12 men in a room the size of a parking space, one fan, a cracked phone screen with a photo of a kid back in Nepal. The father calls home on Sundays and says everything is fine. 7 miles away, the Burj Khalifa is lit up like a candle. He built that. He will never go inside. Dubai didn't just build a city on sand, it built it on people who had no way out. And the ones who did have a way out, the expats, the executives, the investors, well, turns out that exit was a lot more fragile than anyone admitted, because in Dubai, saying the wrong thing out loud can end your life there faster than a missed mortgage payment. The UAE's cybercrime law carries penalties of up to 500,000 dirhams, roughly $136,000, and prison time for online content deemed to damage the country's reputation. People have been arrested for WhatsApp messages, for social media posts, for complaining about their employer in a group chat. The law is broad enough that legal experts have described it as essentially criminalizing dissatisfaction. This is the part where the tax-free salary stops feeling like such a great deal. You can't unionize, you can't strike, you can't post a critical review without calculating the legal risk first. A wrong message to the wrong person and you're on a plane home before your lawyer picks up the phone. Dubai sold itself as the most open city in the region. And it is, as long as you don't look too closely, don't talk too loudly, and definitely don't say anything the government would rather you didn't. Congratulations, you're living in the most glamorous surveillance state on Earth. The good news is, you'll never have to worry about negative reviews. The bad news is you'll never be able to leave one either. And somehow it gets worse, because none of this would matter if you could actually get around the city. You can't. Dubai drivers lost 45 hours to traffic congestion in 2025, up from 35 the year before, and that number keeps climbing. There are 2.5 million registered cars in a city built along a single 60-kilometer corridor. One road, Sheikh Zayed Road. Every skyscraper you recognize from a postcard either sits on it or is reached by getting onto it. Executives, construction workers, tourists, delivery drivers, all funneled onto the same strip of concrete at the same time, every single day. The solution Dubai keeps reaching for is more lanes, which is the infrastructure equivalent of buying bigger pants to cure obesity. Transportation engineers have known for decades that adding lanes induces demand. More lanes means more cars, and within months, you're back where you started. Except now you've spent another $1 billion on concrete, and you still can't make a left turn. The metro exists, but stepping out of a futuristic driverless train and trying to walk to your actual destination means crossing a 6-lane surface road with no crosswalk, a metal guardrail, and a stretch of empty sand that puts you right back in an Uber. Right. They built a public transit system and forgot the public part. An island with sewage trucks, a city where you can be arrested for filming your own street, 12 men in a room the size of a parking space, and a highway that functions like a slow-moving nervous breakdown. Twice a day, every day. These aren't separate problems. They're the same problem. This is what happens when you build a city for the brochure and forget about the people who have to live in it. On April 16, 2024, it rained in Dubai. Not a lot by global standards, 142 millimeters in 24 hours. That's roughly what the city gets in a year and a half. And it brought the entire emirate to its knees. Roads turned into rivers. The Dubai Mall flooded. Luxury basements filled with water. Over 1,500 flights were canceled or delayed at the world's busiest international airport. Damage estimates landed between $2.9 and $3.4 billion. Sheikh Zayed Road, the spine of the city, the highway that everything runs on, was underwater. Here's why. Dubai is 90% paved surface. When it rains, the water has nowhere to go, because nobody built the drainage infrastructure to handle it. They built the road. They built the towers. They built the fountains and the indoor ski slope and the artificial islands. They did not build the drains. Because you can't take a photo of a drain. Because drains don't attract investors. Because Dubai has always bet that it would never really rain. It rained,